Taming the Demon by Ami Levskiro. Chapter 20. To Miraculous Hope. Of course, in the time it took for the Hiruma versus Riku showdown, the brat and the monkey had dug shit up again. The blonde arrived back at the clubhouse to find the fat ass in panic about Manta dangling off Musashi's truck and Sena chasing after it. The quarterback had a pretty good idea where Musashi would be off to and thanked whoever might have been listening that it was close by. The old man never checked his rearview mirror. He wouldn't know about his would-be hijackers until he stopped the truck. Sure enough, the three of them stood in the hospital parking lot yelling at each other, easily heard by Hiruma's sharp ears from the corner he hid behind, half a block away. The blonde already knew that the ex-kicker would kill to play with the devil beds again, but it was still nice to hear said ex-kicker say it himself. This seemed to satisfy the brunette running back, who later would pacify the receiver. If there was something that Kobayashi Kawasana, all three of him, had in buckets, it was faith. But faith can only take a person so far. The quarterback found him alone in the locker room after practice one night, changed, packed, and ready to leave for home. Except he was just sitting there, staring thoughtfully at the green eye shield attached to his helmet, a faint expression of concern on his face. By now, the blonde could tell which Sena was which in a half-second glance, and sitting in front of him was Eye Shield. This meant that something was very wrong, because Eye Shield did not get concerned. When prodded, the running back brought up his confrontation with Musashi. 9 times out of 10, Eye Shield takes over during such conversations, the 10th being when Damon does it, because the original can barely think the word conflict, much less have one. The blonde raised an eyebrow and asked what the problem was. If Eye Shield was running interference, then it was proof he was still necessary to Sena's existence. But that's exactly the problem, Hiruma Taijo. I was ready to come out and defend the original. I was happy to do so. But I didn't. He didn't need me to. He did it all himself. I was unnecessary. The concern on the brunette's face had morphed into obvious fear, and Hiruma's limbs moved to embrace and comfort the smaller player before his mind had even fully processed the words that were spoken. As the shaking brunette burrowed his head into the captain's chest, clasping his shirt, a long-fingered hand stroked his hair. Hiruma sighed through his nose, forcing himself to admit out loud that he knew something like this would eventually happen. Eye Shield jerked back to look the blonde in the eye, betrayal written all over his face. The strategist only held him tighter and told him not to fear. When he said that running interference meant the persona was necessary to Sena, he meant as a separate existence. If Sena was drawing upon Eye Shield's strength on his own, then the persona was becoming necessary on a whole different level. You are not being cut off from the original Sena. You're integrating with them. When asked if that was like dying, Hiruma firmly said, no, not even close. That it wasn't even like going to sleep. If anything, it was like waking up after being sick for a week and feeling like a new person. Stronger, healthier, ready to take whatever life will throw at you next. It wouldn't be right away, either. It could be weeks before the persona noticed the original do anything like this again. Eye Shield seemed comforted by these facts and rested his head comfortably on his captain's shoulder, small body finally relaxing into the arms that held him. Smiling slightly, the brunette asked how the blonde knew all this. Smiling back, blonde said he read up on it back when first became aware of Sena having more than one personality. The kid giggled and the pair disentangled themselves, the shorty turning to leave. As he opened the door, he looked back briefly. Will you miss me when I'm gone, Hiruma Taijo? The blonde promptly crossed the clubhouse, gathered up the brunette, and kissed him soft and slow before replying. The blonde explained that he won't need to miss the persona because it will still be there, just meshed together with the original Sena. The running back smiled, thanked his captain for the reassurance, and headed home. Hiruma waited for his ace player to be out of sight before casually strolling over to the bushes near the fence and swiftly yanking out the little eavesdropper hiding in them. Suzuna squawked and flailed before the blonde set her back on her feet, and she looked determinedly at the ground. From the blush on her face, she saw Sena get his little goodbye kiss, but from this distance, she couldn't have heard what had been said, especially inside the clubhouse. Deciding to be on the safe side, the second year asked the girl what she learned today and was pleased with the answer of Sena not being as available as he seemed. When she asked if Mamoni, really, what was it with this woman and being people's older sister, knew about his relationship with Sena, he just laughed. Suzuna blinked before realizing, yeah, stupid question. As she skated away, she yelled over her shoulder that she saw nothing, and the blonde strategist shook his head, still chuckling, and ducked back into the clubhouse. It was going to be fine. Sena merging with at least one of his personalities was a good thing. It meant he was getting stronger mentally and emotionally. The cheerleader wouldn't gossip needlessly, but she was probably going to let Sena know that she was aware of his relationship. This was good in that the kid had a friend he could be open with and would support him. Homophobia is a terrible thing. For now, they just had to focus on the game against Seibu and crushing the little Rikyu brat.